What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe, known as Off DFS, here to bring that WNBA slate breakdown for the 3-game WNBA slate. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys smack that subscribe button so you guys don't miss any of the videos I'm putting out, and drop a like on this video if this video or any of my other videos helped you guys win some money. With that being said, quick recap on yesterday. I can say that for the most part, the breakdown, we were on point with a lot of things that happened yesterday. First game, the Sparks taking on Connecticut Sun. Sparks, they kind of kept they kept it close-ish for a majority of the game. Got a little out of hand in the fourth quarter. It was considered a blowout, but they definitely stayed below that 14-point spread that Vegas was projecting. And biggest thing in this game was that Kim Brink, she went down 4 minutes, looked like she got her ankle stepped on. We do know that she's a part of that Olympics 3x3 team, so I am not surprised that she did not come back out at all whatsoever. Whether or not if it was a minor injury or if it is a major injury, there's no way that they were going to actually put her back out there, especially considering that she will be playing in the Olympics. So I'm not surprised that she did not come back even if she was able to. But with that being said, we were already on our girl Lee, and she ended up playing 26 minutes. Didn't do bad. Honestly, for what I consider the value play of the day for me, was very heavy on her. She paid it off. 21 fantasy points in my eyes. That right there was very much needed in order to cash. So you're not like digging in the dumpster, because whenever you look at it, some of the other players that you could have actually went to and had as value, like Fee Bitch or something like that, did not pan out or anything in regards to actually getting there. But playing Lee definitely was not the wrong move or a bad move. It panned out, honestly, in the end. So no apes grapes complaints about that. They did shake it up, of course, putting Ari McDonald in the starting lineup. If you were able to switch to Ari, that wasn't a bad move either. She had a pretty productive game. If she had less turnovers, she definitely would have had a better fantasy scoring night, but still was pretty decent. 14.7 assists, 4 rebounds. Her being in the starting lineup should definitely help players like Wnba when it's not a tough matchup like this one was today for her. Again, also being able to open up stuff for Rakia Jackson, finding Brink whenever she actually does come back. That should actually be able to help that whole lineup. Honestly, though, also, if you did have Talbot as a value play yesterday, she actually put up a pretty decent line. 9 points, 2 steals, a block, 4 rebounds. So there's that. Then on the other side, this Connecticut Sun team, like, they're good, they're great, but sometimes for DFS or just fantasy or prop purposes, they are not good to bet on. And it killed me again yesterday with them. Bree Jones hooked her PRA that I had. Her fantasy points definitely just didn't even come close to that. 25 points. I was very heavy on Bree Jones in DFS. 20-ish fantasy points from her at 8 something. It killed my line in the upside that I honestly could have had. She was mediocrely owned, less than 40-ish%. So that right there was just a telling. If she could have got me like 25, closer to 30. Like, I know it's in Bree Jones to actually be able to do it, but honestly, I'm probably gonna have to start fading Bree, because it's the rebound upside that she does not have. Uh, it's killing. It really truly is killing. Dewana Bonner, AT, of course, they gobbled up all the rebounds. Carrington was even swooping in there for freaking rebounds this game, and I had Carrington. Carrington was a good play, great play. Was good to have Carrington on the slate, but man, oh man. Looking at the perfect lineup, there was only one player from this game, and it was surprisingly Alyssa Thomas, who only scored 34 fantasy points from this game, that made it into the perfect lineup that would have took everything down last night. And granted, it was a low scoring slate where it was only 213 would have been the perfect line for last night. But going over to the Phoenix Mercury taking on the New York Liberty, who they beat. And if you got that bet that I had put up on site, I want to say it was like a +3 or +5 that we have for this game for the Phoenix Mercury. Boom, smack that, easy day. You definitely make some money. It was sitting like a -110 or a -115, so definitely make some money on that right there if you took that one right there. Pretty good value. But over here for this one, if you had Stewie had a really great game. Jonquil Jones, she had a good game. Sabrina Ionescu, she had a good game. I told you guys, and I put it up in my notes, that I want one of the big 3 from some of these lines, things like that, for part of the cores that I had put up. Thornton, if you actually play Thornton, I was talking about it inside of Discord. I talked about it to BK and Jay. Was like, hey, this could be one of those Thornton games, because I do think Thornton might actually get the DT matchup. Like, Thornton could see DT as her defender and can actually put up a pretty decent night. And honestly, I didn't get to watch the whole game. Ended up watching TV with my wife, but 4 of 6 from 3. That's telling. I'm pretty sure she probably did actually get DT as the DT matchup. But over here on the other side, Brittany Griner still dominant. 19 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. Didn't need to have her necessarily in order to take down yesterday. Honestly, if you would have had Copper, if you would have had DT 19 points, 5 assists, 9 rebounds. Just a vintage night from DT. Or take Sophie Cunningham off the bench. All in all, if you stack this late game, you crushed like crazy. So that's that for that right there. Going on over to today's slate. Like I said, we got 3 games. We do have some injury news and stuff that we actually have to report and pay attention to. For the Washington side, we already know that Austin and Sykes are going to be out. Over here for Indy, Fat Bentley, there's a chance that she might play. I seen that she's supposed to get reevaluated. Currently, right now, Rotor Wyatt has that she is unlikely to play, but I will keep an eye on that. If she's back, that's going to change up their rotation for bigs. I doubt that she will come back and take the starting spot from Nalissa. That would be pretty heavy if they just swoop in. Hey, Nalissa, boom, you're going back to the bench. Bye. And put Fat Manley back in after coming off that injury. But then again, it's the WNBA. They do crazy things. So just pay attention to that. But right now, I am going to lean that she probably will not play. Hopefully, we get an update on that later on in the day. Next game up, we got Atlanta. We got news that Ariel Powers will be out. So that's going to mess around with that bench rotation in regards to who's going to come in. But that could lead some upside for some of the starters, because we know when Ariel Power comes in, she is a ball hog, usage hog, and everything. The ball sticks in her hands whenever she's out there on the court, and she's going to go get hers. She is going to go get hers. Typically, that is exactly how you see it whenever it comes out there, whenever she's out there. And then over here on the Minnesota side, I know that Carlson, she was out for that last game. It was they figured that they could just go ahead and beat Dallas. They didn't need Carlton to go ahead out there with a banged up elbow. So Carlton did not play, but I do fully expect for her to be back, and we should see Dorka go back to the bench. For Seattle, no news for them. And then same thing for Las Vegas. No news really to report over here for them. What's her name? Freaking Chelsea Gray. She has been active for the last 2 games. I actually expect for her to play this game. Like, she's been active. She's been warming up. I don't see a reason why they should keep her out for any longer. So hopefully she actually does come in and actually play today for this game. So with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's head on over to DraftKings, the site that I play the most on. If you guys don't got an account over here on DraftKings and you guys want one, check the link down in the description below so you guys can get that deposit match bonus and join your boy over here on the King. Today, they are giving us the one is 100K shoot around, 20K to first. Today, it is a $20 entry fee, unlike the other days where it's normally like $15. But hey, still, 20K to first. I will take these contests all day, because I'm telling you, last year, all we used to get was 10K and 5K. And now they are really pumping us some contests. With NBA being over and the WNBA, of course, I've noticed more Caitlin Clark slates have been getting these big bonuses and things like that. But I'm not going to complain about it. It is money to be made. First, starting out on the Washington Mystic side, we have already seen these 2 teams play. This was the Caitlin Clark explosion game. This was the game that they actually played when they came back from being off for several days, actually getting to practice, have some time underneath their belts to go ahead and gel, things like that. So first time around, Washington, I mean, it was a decent game. I will at least say it was decent. It was close, 83-85. Of course, we already know how it went down, but with Sykes being out, we can go right back to Atkins. Atkins sitting at 9.5. Her price has come up quite a bit. I will say there are other guards that we could definitely go to. Hint, hint, wink, wink. If Atkins is priced up here higher than Skylar Diggins-Smith or Jackie Young, I definitely think I will take Jackie Young or Skylar Diggins-Smith over Ariel Atkins. I understand Atkins is going to have the usage and everything like that, but that makes her for a really good GPP play. I don't see anything wrong with going there here. We already know that she's going to have to take the shot. She will play some pretty good defense, and she has been playmaking just a little bit, of course, without Sykes being out there. We know she can dish to Rock as well and get some of those rebounds. So 9.5, not going to ape great complaint, but I will say I will come down. No Shakira Austin, Aaliyah Edwards. She's sitting right there at 8.6. This has pretty much been the sweet spot, the really good price tag for her. And in that first matchup that she went going up against them, she did drop 29 fantasy points in that game in 29 minutes. So pretty much a fantasy point per minute when she was out there. 12 rebounds, 10 points, no blocks, no steals. So that defensive upside that we know that she can actually bring, I'm pretty sure she will actually have it in this game. Nonetheless, she only had 2 personal fouls, so no reason why we shouldn't see her play upwards 32-ish minutes, like what we know that she actually can play, especially with Austin being out. Wouldn't be surprised if they actually do try to have some Misha Hines-Allen out there like they always do. Misha, in those 17 minutes, she did drop 21.5 fantasy points. She makes for a pivot if you want to try to, I don't know, go GPP route, come off of Aaliyah Edwards, but I just think that Aaliyah Edwards makes for the better play. And if you're going to come down, you might as well just come down to Dolson, just take the $100 cheaper or less. She's right there. She played 30 minutes in this game, dropped 34.5 fantasy points in. We do know that Dolson, she can stretch the floor. She was banging it from 3, 5 of 6 from 3 in that game. I'm not going to say that she's not going to go 5 or 6 from 3, but she can at least go out there and knock down about 2 threes in this game for sure for you. And I don't mind coming down to her if you're looking to come off of Aaliyah Edwards and you'd rather come down there. Now, I will say that there's some merit. We can look to some of the guards like Van Loo. We do know she's going to be out there. She's going to have to play some heavy minutes. We know she can play make. She can also be pretty feisty on the defensive side. 29 minutes going up against him. She dropped 27.25 fantasy points. Still, we can definitely attack Indy at the guard position, especially those guards that are actually pretty quick. And Van Loo, she does fit that bill. The playmaking upside that she does have at 6,700, I don't mind her as a mid-tier option on today's slate. And then coming off the bench, unfortunately, I cannot believe I'm going to say her name, but SWK. I will have to take her into consideration at 4,800, but if I'm going to go all the way down there, I will go down to my girl Jade Melbourne. She only played 4 minutes in that game, 4.75 fantasy points, and she's going to have to play some type of minutes. She's going to have to. You got to play Jade some type of minutes here in this matchup, considering that you don't have really any guards to back up Van Loo because Psych is out. I don't know why she gets such ticky-tacky minutes in regards to it, but hopefully she can go ahead and get some decent minutes, and I don't mind her right here. If you want to believe in revenge narrative, then you can go ahead and come on down to Emily Angster. She is sitting here 4 minutes in the last game, only 2.75 fantasy points, but they have been mixing her around in the rotation. She's not anything of much play. And then, of course, Dee Richardson. If you think that she's going to get some minutes, then you're crazy, but go ahead and play that if you want to. But I will tell you, I will not be going all the way down there to Dee Richardson. Going over to the other side, like I said, this was the game that Caitlin Clark, she exploded. Now, right now, the way that Caitlin and Boston have been playing, I don't mind, honestly, just going ahead and trying to get me a Caitlin Clark and Boston stack, just for the fact of these two have been balling. This is a good matchup for Boston. I can see her definitely coming out here and stringing up another 40-plus fantasy point game. She did not play well in that first game. 33 minutes, dropped 23 fantasy points, and it was putrid. It was bad. But ever since they got their asses blown out and they made her run, she's been playing very good. She looks like she might have her conditioning back underneath her belt. She looks very polished. She's being aggressive, going to go get her shot. All those things that I was hoping to see from Leah Boston to start the season, we are finally actually starting to see that now. Now, I will say, opposing centers going up against the Washington Mystics, they've done so. We saw Cardoso in 25 minutes. She dropped 20.25 fantasy points. Tina Charles dropped 26. Jonquil Jones dropped 48 fantasy points in a game. So that's the high that we can look to. So again, there's merit to fading Boston. You don't necessarily have to go to her. She is priced up at 10-1. That is pretty pricey when I have a Fee on the slate. I have Asia Wilson on the slate. I have Ezzy, NECA, those things like that. But that's where the decisions actually have to come into. I don't mind Boston, but she's not a high-tick priority for me to get to on today's slate. Now, I will say Clark at 9-9. I don't mind coming to her if I'm looking between Atkins and Clark. I will come up to Atkins for that. I mean, not Atkins. I will come up to Clark at that 9 price tag. Again, like I said, shot 56.5 fantasy points going up against them. She's coming off of a 49 fantasy point game from her last outing going up against Chicago. And honestly, you could definitely get away with playing guards going up against Washington, especially those that can actually shoot. I will imagine that they will be doing some doubling and things like that in this game to get Clark. They're not going to try to let her drop another 30 on the heads like they did last time. They have strung together a couple of wins now, Washington, so I know they would like to keep that momentum going. So I can imagine that they will definitely be trying to play up for this game. Now, if Fag Minley is back, then Nalissa Smith is completely out of play. But if she's not back, then you can go to Nalissa Smith, come up down for a cheaper option versus playing Boston. Just got to hope that Smith will get her normal minutes, her rotation. As you can see, they had 19 and 17 minutes in the last 2 games. It was kind of crazy, but she did play 30 minutes and dropped 30.25 fantasy points against Chicago. So, long as Fag Minley is out, I will consider Nalissa Smith, but not necessarily something that's sticking out that I have to get up and go to. If you don't want to pay it for Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, she's actually been playing pretty well over the last several games. Last 2 games, at least 25 fantasy points. She's kind of always goes and be's the forgotten player over here for them. A lot of people really don't roster Kelsey Mitchell, but a decent spot. If you think that Clark is going to be getting doubled like what I'm thinking, then definitely we can come down to Kelsey. We know that she's going to have to go out there and score and look for her shot. If Fag Minley is out, then Carly or Katie will be in play. She's been coming out there knocking down her threes as a value play under that 5K range. 12 minutes, she had 18 fantasy points. The threes are hitting. She is 3 for 4 in her last several games, shooting close to 50% in regards to her 3-point shot over the last several games, and she's playing at home, so I do like the upside for her here. Not really going to mess with Erica Wheeler, Hall, Berger, none of these guys. They really don't tickle a whistle for me to come down here and want to go to any of those down there at all whatsoever for me. Going over to the Atlanta side, taking on the Minnesota Lynx. For this game, I love the upside here for Ryan. I really, 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 really do. Hopefully that rib injury or whatever that she had in that last game, it didn't mess with her too much. The only thing that bothers me is the fact that the Lynx have been pretty decent at taking away your number one option, your main option that you want to go to in a game. So Ryan, I like it. 9-7, not a bad price tags. Lets me come down off of Clark. Gets different. I'm pretty sure she's gonna go under own because a lot of people look at it like, I'm not playing Ryan today. Why would I go there? Why? So definitely a GPP option. The upside will be there for her. Again, I said no aerial power, so maybe we could actually see her hunting for her shot and things like that while she's out there on the court. The upside definitely could be there for her. I don't mind it. If they want to stay in this game, you are going to need to have a good game from her. Going up against the Lynx throughout her history, granted, they did play earlier this season. She dropped 49 fantasy points in that game. That was in 34 minutes back in May. So the upside is there for her. She knows how to play going up against the Lynx. But the question is she actually going to go out here and give me 20 plus points like what she has in the past? That is what's going to be needed. Is she going to be able to knock down those 3-point shots? Those are the questions that Ryan has yet to answer for me throughout the season. But I definitely will have her in consideration for a play. Tina Charles going up against Alana Smith. I'm in a mixing pot in regards to this. I will say that the Lynx have done pretty well defending opposing centers, so this might be a fade Tina Charles day for me. If you guys like the NBA, Monty Williams just got fired from the Pistons. Man, I don't think Monty, well, I don't know if Monty was a problem, but never mind. Anyway, Alicia Gray, if you can't get up to Ryan, I don't mind coming down here to Alicia Gray. Definitely is pretty steady. Without the production of aerial powers, maybe the ball will be in her hands as well a little bit more, leading second units and things like that. She has been pretty decent over her last couple games with 39 and 22, 24, 21, 25 fantasy points. At least will get you into the 20s. She has to pop. She has to really score in order for her to go out there and get us a high game out there for her. But honestly, everyone else down here, I'm not too interested in too much over here on the Atlanta Dream team. As long as Coffee is in the starting lineup, I really don't want to mess with Cheyenne Parker. Coming off the bench, 7-7. It was great in that first game, but the second game we saw it. She only played 15 minutes. Granted, she gave us a fantasy point per minute, but I don't think that I can play 7-7 for maybe 15 minutes of Cheyenne Parker. I cannot do that. I cannot. Heck no. And then Coffee, if you want to believe that maybe they're going to actually let her play 20 plus minutes again, and maybe she might have a better fantasy outing than what she did last time, one shot. That's all. One shot. Boy, that pissed me off having her as a value play last slate. And then, of course, they go to Nas Hillman. They give Nas Hillman the run. Hillman plays 22 minutes, gives us 16.75 points. I just cannot with Tanisha. I cannot with Tanisha Wright. I cannot stand the way that she coaches. She pisses me off to no days off. She pisses me off. But I'm not messing with anyone out here. I will say you can mess with Haley Jones, possibly. She is going to have to play. She's going to have to see the minutes. They only have about 3 guards, if I'm not mistaken, for the rotation. Yeah. So you only have Haley Jones. You have Dangerfield. You have Gray. Ryan is the small forward. So that's all you have out there to run for the guard position. So definitely we'll have to actually consider Dangerfield as well and Haley Jones. Both these guys will be in play for this game. Over here on the other side, Minnesota Lynx, you already know it starts and ends with Fee. Fee did not have the greatest game going out there against my my Dallas Wings, but this is a bounce back spot for her to actually be able to come out here and put up some pretty good numbers. Going up against them earlier this season, she did drop 48 fantasy points. She is right back in that spot to be able to do the exact same thing. Don't mind or hate the upside that she can actually bring here. At 11-7, people might be off of her for just coming off of a stinker, technically, for fee standards. And that last game, she still dropped 37 fantasy points. She was racking up the steals and things like that. Just took her a minute to actually get her shot to fall and going. But 11-7, definitely a pay up option that we actually can decide from with some of the other bigs that we have on the slate. Kayla McBride, 10K. Don't mind, but I'm not going to pay that much for Kayla McBride. A little bit too expensive for me to actually pay up for a play that does have to rely on her scoring in order for me to go to. I will say Alana Smith over the last several games, she's looking great. 30 fantasy points in 5 straight games. The upside, of course, on the defensive side has always been there for her. As long as she keeps herself out of foul trouble, she gives us really great production. And I can see myself going to Alana Smith here at the 9K. If I come up off a fee and I want to get one of these bigs, I will come down to Alana Smith. You definitely can go there for her. And then Courtney Williams. It all just depends on the game. Now, she saw 30 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Atlanta, yep. She saw pretty much close to 30 minutes in this game going up against Atlanta. 29 minutes. She gave us 23 fantasy points in that game. Games that they actually need her in, she seems to typically play closer to 25 minutes. I would think this is a game that they should need her veteran presence out there to actually play. I am not going to play 7-6 for fucking Heidemann, who is coming off of her one game that she's going to give us 20 plus fantasy points, where she pretty much shot lights out versus a banged up Dallas Wing squad. I am not going to fall for that trap. I'm not. You can fall for that trap if you want to. 7-6, heck no. I'd rather take Dorka off the bench, who I know is going to at least see about 16 to 20 minutes, and roll the dice with that right there. But I will not play Heidemann. Heck to the fucking no. Come down here and play Carlson, who's coming up off a banged up elbow, before you go and you play Heidemann. That would be ridiculous and honestly borderline stupid to play Heidemann here on Slate. Carlton, 28 minutes, 17.25 fantasy points. Definitely an option you can go to, but really it's going to be Fee for me, and then Alana Smith, Courtney Williams, Kayla McBride. That would be how I would see it right there, if you guys are considering that as possible plays. All right. Before we get down over here, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you guys haven't done so already, so you don't miss any of the content I'm putting out over here on the channel. Drop a like on this video if this video or any of my other videos will help you guys win some money. Like I said, I will definitely be trying to give you guys some more prop videos. Hopefully, I'll have one of those up later on today. As soon as the board fully gets completed, I will look over that and see if I can get some props out for you guys. So definitely check back in if you guys are looking for prop plays over on PrizePicks or any of the sites that you actually do play prop plays on. Going over to Seattle, taking on the Las Vegas Aces. On the side, I'm honestly going to end up, and this is probably going to be my lock of the day, but Ezzy at 10-2. I understand NECA's sitting there at 9-8, but NECA should be dealing with what's her name? With Asia Wilson. And I understand that Ezzy, she did have the big game, last game that they did play. But I don't mind just going right back to Ezzy. This is kind of a system play. Centers going up against Kia Stokes, they actually have done very, very, very well. And I'm going to go right back to Ezzy in this matchup. Now, there is merit. You could definitely come out here to NECA. I would imagine that maybe game log watchers, they will see, oh, Ezzy going up here, she dropped 50 plus. I'm going to go right back to her. Maybe NECA could be lower owned. Maybe. But just how typical things go, pricing wise, they're going to look at Ezzy, they're going to look at NECA. People are going to just go ahead and go down and play NECA. Like, that's really what I honestly fully would expect for it inside of this matchup. But outside of that, I really just do like the upside for Ezzy here, 10-2. Outside of that, Skylar Diggins-Smith, Jewel Lloyd. Lloyd is, of course, 1K more than Skylar. Lloyd has the potential to, like, blow up on a slate. She really does. Coming off of a stinker of a game, first time going up against the Aces, she dropped 39.25 fantasy points, 25 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. She definitely has that in her bag, but when I come down here and get Skylar at 9-3, 1K less, and she's been balling over her last several games and going up against the Aces, she played lights out, 21 points, 7 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 2 rebounds, 41 fantasy points. I'm going to come down to Skylar Diggins-Smith. Like, they honestly don't have an answer for Skylar. And opposing guards, opposing ones have actually done very well in the spot going up against the Aces, period. Like, I will just go ahead and just take the value that I can actually get and take over here on the day versus trying to pay up for Lloyd, when I just really don't think that you have to necessarily do that. Outside of that, if you want to roll the dice on Horston, definitely 5-3. We know she's going to at least see about 15-ish minutes. Played 33 minutes in the last game against Phoenix Mercury. Dropped 33 fantasy points in that game. I do not fully expect for her to go out here and do that again. That would be crazy if she actually did. I won't say Vivian's got pulled. Yeah, Vivian's got pulled in that game. Now, if they were to pull Vivian's, if you think that Horston is doing a much better job and could garnish and take that starting role from Vivian, then definitely that makes for a good GPP play. But right now, she's still coming off the bench, and those minutes are not secure. So she still makes for a decent value play as in a bench player to go to, but still, unless she's starting, unless they announce that Horston's starting, I'm not going to go there for her at the 5-3. There's some other value plays I think we could possibly get to on today's slate, even though today is going to be one of those mid slates where value is very scarce, at least to me, and it's going to take us a minute to try to figure out exactly who we can go to. Besides going to Zandalis from the Minnesota Lynx, or if you want to take Jade Melbourne or something like that, that's really going to be kind of all the value that I really do see. So Horston, she's in the pool. Same thing with Sammy. They're in the pool of value plays that we can go to, but neither one of them are truly just sticking out to me. Sammy, 13 minutes in the last game, 10 fantasy points, 21 minutes against the Aces, only dropped 9.1 fantasy points in that game. So definitely some options over here for them, but really it's going to be Ezzy, it's going to be Skylar. Lloyd for GPP if you want to come off of Skylar, because you know Lloyd will be lower owned than Skylar will be. Going over to the other side for the Las Vegas Aces, let me see, Chelsea Gray, I just got to see. Gray, she is on the injury report for Wednesday, of course. She is set to make her season debut Wednesday after missing the last 12 games, low leg injury. She is reportedly not expected to operate on official minutes restriction, but she likely will be limited. I doubt that we see her play 30 minutes. But Chelsea Gray at 6'2". This might be your value play that you can go to. I'm not gonna lie. Chelsea Gray, even in limited minutes, can go out there and give us a great game. If they start Chelsea Gray, I will find it hard for me not to want to go ahead and play her. I definitely will be paying attention to the airwaves and see what comes out, things like that for the day. But at 6'2", that's interesting not to want to go ahead and go to. With Chelsea Gray officially making her debut and being back, we should see Plum go, of course, just playing more of the 2, and Jackie Young should go back to playing the 3. 9-4 for Jackie Young. I don't mind it. Even with Gray being back, Jackie is still going to be able to dish the rock like what she has. It's not going to be crazy 6, 7, 8 assists, but she can still go ahead and get me 3 to 4 assists like what she has over her last several games. And then on the other side of it, her scoring, that aspect of it shouldn't change too much because she is still needed to go out there and score. Versus Seattle in that game, that was one of her sick games. She did not play well at all whatsoever in that game. So definitely a upside play, GPP option right there. Kelsey Plum, over her last, since Darren Waller has released the music video and come out and just said that Plum was a horrible wife. Horrible wife. She has not played all too hot. She has not, but maybe having her veteran guard back in the starting lineup, that might help her get her mojo back. So Plum, 8-4, definitely a GPP play option that we can go to. But of course, we already know when it comes down to it. A'ja Wilson, 12-1. You go ahead and get up there to A'ja. 50.75 fantasy points, 29 points, 11 rebounds. Her having her veteran guard back might also help her as well. Don't mind just going ahead and pay up for A'ja. We already know. Literally, it's going to be the choice between her and Fee. If I got a rock, paper, scissors, shoot, I will be honest, I'll take Fee over A'ja currently right now as it stands. But I do see a world where we could possibly... I'm going to try to fit both of them into a line. See how it goes. Definitely, if you guys are looking for that, check the link down description below for the Patreon. I will have my course posted up. I will try to give you guys 3 cores like I have been doing, give you guys some options, give you guys just how I see it, breaking down and everything. But with that being said, it's your boy Zoe. I am done. This is the breakdown. Hope you guys got a little something from this. Go out there, cash, make some money. It's 20K to first. If you don't go ahead and put that lottery ticket in and quit wasting it on some other shit, come on. Let's go. Cash out. Peace.